Can you believe that somebody led my 70-year-old mother to believe that her prayers didn't count? Are you kidding me? I wish I was. I wish I was. Now, this wasn't something that was directed to my mother specifically. She watched a video on YouTube because she was struggling with her prayer. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Whether your prayers can be canceled out, especially if you have cognitive issues that prevent you maybe from concentrating as deeply as you would like to, such is the case with many people that are in their older years, right? It's harder to concentrate and memory fades and you might space out halfway through a prayer, whatever that happens. That's okay. That's okay. And it makes me sad that there are people out there that are promoting videos that would make someone believe that their prayers aren't good enough for God or that they would be rejected by the Holy Virgin. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. Another thing she asked me today, which I thought was kind of cute, is if she says the Hail Mary, but she's not holding the rosary, does it count? I thought that was cute. It's like she thinks the rosary is the antenna to the Virgin Mary. So I put her mind at ease that nope, you could be praying to the Virgin. And even if it's not the Hail Mary, you're just praying from your heart. I'm sure that those prayers are reaching heaven, and no, they don't get canceled out because you have a momentary lapse where you get distracted or, like I said, for people that have concentration issues, I'd like to believe that a God would be compassionate and would just be pleased that even though you find prayer difficult, you still try it, because how many people get discouraged and don't at all. But, that leads me to think about the dogmatic approach to how we correct others. Because on the one hand, it's even in our catechism that it is our job to correct people if they have a misunderstanding or are practicing in a manner that won't actually help them connect with the divine. So it's our job to protect somebody from maybe being misguided in their faith life. But then there's the other, opposite angle that you have to watch for, that you don't approach it in such a dogmatic way that it has the opposite effect by maybe making them not want to talk to you anymore, or discourage them from praying or even trying, or thinking that, something that is coming with a sincere heart would actually be displeasing to God, and then alienating them from trying to connect to God in the first place. To me, that is a sin. That's the sin to me. If you're doing anything that alienates people from wanting that divine connection, that is a far greater sin than somebody who's praying the rosary that gets distracted. My mom's case, her specific question was doing the mysteries with the rosary. And she's, my mom's new to formation, right? So she's not like someone who was very devout, left the church and came back. My mom's just joining the church at 70. So she's starting from scratch and learning all of the things. And, Catholicism is not easy. There's a lot to learn. Huge learning curve for her. So she's quite devoted to the rosary and prays several a day. So first of all, give her a break. I don't know many people that have been practicing for 20, 30 years that pray several rosaries a day. And my mom does, and she gives it her all. But she has a hard time understanding the mysteries. Why we have the mysteries, what they do, how to contemplate them. She's still digging through all that stuff. And I keep telling her, Mom, just do it. Just the fact that you're seeking is the point. It's not what you find. It's the fact that you're seeking. So even if it's happening imperfectly, even if you get distracted, even if you don't really understand what's happening in the moment, just give it your best, and the fruits of that labor, you will get something. And I'll tell you, my mother's prayers are powerful. They're almost creepy. So, so now she's feeling discouraged because she gets distracted and she's struggling with the mysteries. So she goes to YouTube to see if maybe she can learn some tips or somebody will give her some encouragement. And instead, what does she find? A video that's telling her that the rosary without the mysteries is like having a body without a soul. Now, I understand metaphorically where they're coming from, And I am not discounting the importance or the fruits that the contemplation of the mysteries offer. I'm not. Yes, it's important to get there. However, to word it that way and then have a newcomer who's struggling come across that material with no caveat, you know what I mean, was highly discouraging. So here's my mom who's praying, 2-3 rosaries a day, sometimes 4. And now she's told that all those rosaries are canceled and none of them count because the whole time she's been praying the rosary these months, she's conflicted about the mysteries or confused about them. And to me, that is such, I could hear the dejection in her voice. And to me, that was the heartbreak. It wasn't anything she was doing wrong. In my perspective, it was the other, maybe not intentional, but the other did wrong by for a second making her think that, maybe I shouldn't even try because I don't do it perfect off the bat. And when I try and imagine what the Holy Mother or Jesus would be like, and they're watching us broken beings, doing our best and fumbling our way through life. And they see that we are making a concerted effort to, speak their name and to contemplate the mysteries or not, or just pray or whatever. I'd like to think there's a shred of them that will say, wow, they could have been doing a million other things. And maybe these 5 minutes they're giving me are imperfect, but they're giving them to me and not to some secular thing. And I'd like to think that that counts for something. And I'd also like to think that if somebody who is living with some form of cognitive decline or, memory issues or ADD or something like that, that really struggles with concentration, that God understands that too. And that maybe has a bit of a grace, may have a chuckle once in a while, hey, look, shiny thing, there's a squirrel, maybe you'll even have a chuckle at it. But I don't think that he would malign our prayer or reject the prayer because it wasn't coming, absolutely perfect, because none of us are perfect. And our prayers will probably never be perfect unless maybe they're sincere. And maybe if the whole reason you're doing it is with an open heart and with sincerity, the flaws that may come with that are canceled out. I would like to think, right? But whatever the case may be, I think if there is a moral or a lesson to be learned by this experience, for myself, especially someone who is sharing my experience of faith, is to remember to ensure that everything I say should be wanting to make people feel safer coming to God and not to push them away.